everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Rhythm in Rome with Benef, myself, Paul, and Trecia, where we talk about and discuss our travel adventures and explore cultural differences, similarities, misconceptions, and all those craziness that falls in between. Okay, we're going to change it up a little bit today. You know, you guys have seen a couple of episodes of us already, and this time we're wanting to do kind of like more of an origin. You know, it's been few episodes, like I said, and this origin story is going to be about us, where we each have a travel experience that has made us fall in love with traveling and exploring. So today we're sharing our travel origin stories. You know, the things that made us more savvy, want to explore the world a bit more, and have more adventures. So I don't know who's going to start, but I'm just going to pick somebody to just start this adventurous and kind of give a little bit more of, your travel experience. And I'm going to go around what makes more sense. I don't know, because we all have great stories. So Benef, why don't you just do it
I
first,
knew you
since
were gonna
you're
call me.
the bee.
Right. So my origin story. So basically, this will be the first time that I traveled alone as an adult. Because before that, I traveled with my parents, but like this was the first time traveling alone. After I graduated West Point, we had 90 days of free vacation. So my friend and I decided we were going to backpack through Europe. That was like the cool thing to do. And we had chosen Italy and England or UK as places to go. So we took a Mac flight over. Like she handled all of this. I couldn't even tell you how we did it, but we went from like Dover Air Force Base to Naples, Italy, and that flight was actually fine. No issues. And Italy was, I mean, the island of Capri or Capri, I don't know how to
Yeah,
pronounce it.
Capri. Yep, Capri.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Like amazing. It was just amazing. And then we went to Rome. So this was where things got a little bit strange. Okay, so we're tired. It's like really flipping hot and we're sticky. And we are trying to find this youth hostel and there was no GPS, right? So we have like paper maps and we're like trying to navigate the streets of Rome. You would think we'd land navigation would be one of our strengths being in the army, but whatever. We didn't find the one we were looking for. We found a different one. We're like, fine, we're tired. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Fuck this. We're just going to stay here. And so we do, and they give us the room, we pay, but it was like a room with like 12 bunk beds. And I was like,
A hostel.
and it was a youth hostel. Yeah, a room with 12 bunk beds. It's co-ed. And I was like, well, this is okay, whatever.
West
So
Point
we
all
get
over
in.
again.
I know. And so the only bunks available were like the top bunks. So we drop our stuff and we're like, we just feel nasty. We're going to go shower. And so like everything was co-ed, but thankfully the showers at least had some privacy. So we feeling better. We come back, and then I was going to like put on a tank top and then I can't find it. Like I'm searching my backpack. I mean, I had literally like had been there that morning. It wasn't there. Well, it turns out we found out later that those assholes had already rifled through our bags because being the naive cadets, we are
Oh no.
graduates, we had left our shit unsecured and just went to the bathroom. Like we're like nobody
Oh
will. A
no.
cadet will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those who do. And so we just assumed like the rest of the world operated with this honor code, and they don't. So that shit was gone. They had taken 2 of my tank tops, 2 of my friend's shirts, and a credit card from each. So of course I
Nice.
didn't find out about the credit card until I called home, and my parents were like, "Yeah, they called," and because it's like the 90s, there's no instant notification of
Mm-hmm.
anything. It wasn't until like the last night that it was things got shitty. So there's like 12 people in the room. It's dark. Everyone's
But wait,
asleep.
did you not talk to any of these people beforehand? Like, did you
Well,
introduce
I mean,
yourself, or
well, no, but
where
see,
were they
that's the
from?
other.
Where were they all
I
from?
don't flip it. No, it's a good point. Like, that's a good point. I don't actually know because I only remember the French Canadian guy.
Mhm.
This guy was like 6 feet tall, big ass dude, and that's the one that was sleeping on the bottom bunk.
And it's
That's the only
interesting, it's
guy I
Okay.
men and
remember, right?
women. It's men and
Was he the
women.
one that was sleeping? Was he sleeping like directly under you, or
Yeah,
how does that
directly
work? Okay.
underneath me. So,
I'm
Okay.
shocked that it's
and
men
that,
and women and it was no hanky
yeah,
panky.
well, there were people doing things or like making out or whatever, but I didn't ever see anyone like screwing. So that was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the last night, like I'm trying to sleep, lights are out, and the bunk starts like moving, like it's like rocking, and I was
Yes.
like, what is wrong? Because it goes on for like several minutes, and I'm like, can this guy just not get comfortable? Because I felt like he was like
Right.
tossing and turning. Is he just not able to go to sleep? And so like finally I like peek over, and I was like, this guy was completely butt ass naked with his dick in his hand, just going to town on himself. Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, as you can imagine, like right now, like who I am today is not who I
Oh,
was like
nice.
Wait, was
a
he
long ass
drunk?
time ago. I
Okay,
don't know.
wait a
I
minute.
didn't fucking talk
You
to
mean
him.
he was naked with 11 other people in this
Yes,
room?
yes,
He didn't.
yes.
He just didn't give a shit.
No, I mean, I
He
guess
just knew he had a need, and
he
he was gonna fill it that night.
assumed everybody was asleep.
And he's not even
Yeah, and it
military.
was a big guy. And yeah, well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. And so I was like terrified because I didn't want him to know that I was awake. I mean, now granted, I
No
can't imagine.
kidding.
It's
I
probably
mean, there
why he
were,
did it, Benef, because of what you just
Oh,
said. He wanted you.
wow.
It's,
Wow,
it's
it was
Benef.
probably
awful.
why.
It was awful. So it went on, and I was just like, I don't want to move. And then finally he stopped, went to the bathroom. I'm like, thank you,
Well, he had to go
Jesus.
to the bathroom to clean up, you know.
This
I
is
can't even
over.
right
I'm
now.
giving
No,
you
I
the
know.
man version. I'm giving you
Yeah,
the
okay, well,
softcore
thank you.
porn
So then
version, okay?
he came back, and I'm like, okay, finally I could sleep. But that that motherfucker started up again.
Whoa! What the
And so
hell kind of places do you go, Benef?
well,
And this is why
needless
you
to
like to
say,
travel?
no, no, this is how you don't be so damn naive. And the West Pointers coming out of freaking West Point. Oh
Okay,
my
wait a minute.
God.
Okay, all right, double it back. How old were you?
21.
And this was
Hmm.
the first time you had ever traveled internationally, other than outside of the military.
Well,
By
I
yourself.
know I hadn't traveled in the military at all yet because I was just graduated. So I had been to France before with my high school French class. And we
Okay, so
saw the
totally in the
topless,
bubble, protected.
but we did
Yeah.
see the topless beaches, people just everything hanging out.
Mm.
Okay. All
But
right. But you
but
were
this
with
was, yeah,
by
yeah, yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Welcome to the world.
oh my
Mm.
gosh, we were like, and I can't, because like that never had even, it's not like West Pointers or Saints or anything, but I just hadn't ever experienced anything like that. And so the next morning, I mean, and I can't do the French accent. You'll probably have to do it because he was like, how did you sleep?
Oh, so he was
And,
French. He was French.
yeah, French Canadian, yes.
Ooh la
And I
la.
was like,
Oh la la.
fine. And then he goes, I slept sound. And I was
I
like,
think
oh
he
my
liked you,
God.
Benef. That's what it was.
No, it's
And he
awful. It
wanted
was
to
awful.
show you his
Stop.
jewel so you can be surprised.
Okay.
So wait, how
No,
did
it's
so did you guys hang out afterwards? And
Wow.
oh
did you at
stop.
least see
Stop.
Rome? I I
You
don't
have to
know.
get a drink
The
of wine.
people
Well,
want,
we did.
you know,
Yeah, so we did like
inquiring
that.
minds want to know.
We did so in Rome, yeah, we saw a lot of really cool things. We went from Rome to Venice, but
Who's
I
we?
told my
You and
friend,
the
I'm like,
guy?
we are never staying at a youth hostel again. We will stay in some place with a room that locks. Like, we weren't going through that shit again. Because well, she slept through the
OMG.
whole thing. I was the one that happened to be awake,
I'm surprised you even traveled again after this.
I'm surprised you didn't even put any video together.
Oh my God. No, we didn't have video. Oh my God. No. But I mean, so that was weird, right? I
Can
do
you
have
imagine
another
if
really,
TikTok was around back then?
Oh
Oh
God.
Lord.
See, this is why I'm a proponent for all the see, it's like this did happen back then. Our kids
Mm,
today, our kids, they don't think we ever did anything. It's because we don't
No,
have
it
proof.
was snail
Thank
mail.
God
That's
we don't
why.
have proof.
Oh,
Thank
jeez.
Thank God.
Oh,
I don't
good
want
Thank
none of
God.
God.
that ridiculous shit
Oof.
on social media.
Yeah,
Destroy
thank
the
No
God.
kidding.
evidence.
No
So
kidding.
yeah,
No
like that
kidding.
was
Wow. That's a hell of
bizarre.
an
And
origin story.
But other
well,
than that, how so what is your, do's and don't on this for your first experience of traveling?
well, don't leave your stuff unsecure. Like, come on now. That was
Yeah,
just
that's
like
like number one.
basic stuff. I mean, I
What
wouldn't
made you
even
think
know.
that you could trust people like that? Is it because you
Well, we
were
didn't
from
think
West
because
Point?
we had grown 4 years. We'd been in
Yes,
the
the
bubble
bubble.
of where we
Mm.
don't lock our doors, and they have
Okay,
locks
so
now, I think. But yeah,
So the
yeah.
key is then, did you at least have a great first experience in Rome?
Rome was hot and sticky and dirty.
yeah, see, now
We felt better. Like Venice was better, but once we finally got to England, I felt like I could breathe because it wasn't as hot. Like it was
Mm.
so hot.
So you went from hot to like rainy.
what year did, I mean, excuse me, what time of the year did you go?
It was summer, so it would have been June,
Mm.
maybe.
Yeah,
That time.
Yeah.
Origin.
that's a
That is
hell of an origin story.
hell of a, or I think the highlight is obviously you guys having the roommates in the hostel kind of thing. Okay, so Trisha, can you one up what Benef just gave as a story? I can't even say it with a
Uh,
straight face.
Probably not. So, but yeah, we're gonna try. So mine is a little bit more innocent. I really kind of fell in love with traveling, and I guess that kind of gave me a travel bug. Is I was an avid reader when I was younger, and I used to read 2 and 3 books a day, believe it or not. And sometimes I wouldn't sleep because I would reading all the time. I was an only child, so books,
Mm.
TV, television, all those wonderful things were kind of my babysitter. I was a latchkey kid, so I was alone a lot. So yeah, I did a lot of reading. So I always disappeared, and
Mm.
travel was in books. And I got to bring my traveling to life. And this is why my favorite aunt in the whole world, we used to call her, it's my Aunt Alma, but her nickname was Aunt Mita. We always
Mm.
used to call her Aunt Mita. She was a school teacher in Belize. That's where my family's from. And it was actually my first trip to Belize. I
Okay.
was about 12 years old. And I traveled previous to this because I actually lived in Belize for 4 years. When I was smaller,
Oh
I actually
wow.
lived with
Very
with
cool.
her. I lived almost 3 years
Mhm.
in Belize when my parents got divorced. My mom was getting like set up again as a single mom, and so I lived actually in Belize with my great grandmother for almost 3 years. I had gone. Actually took us on a backpacking trip, if you will, to Mexico.
Mm.
So
Nice.
where Belize is located, it's very close to Mexico, and so I mean it's borders Mexico, right? So we took a trip from Belize. We actually took a coach bus, believe it or not, and we had backpacks, and we took a bus from Belize City, is where my family is, and we took it up through Chetumal,
Mm.
and we actually went into Cancun.
Oh nice.
And
Cool.
this was, yes, and this is like new Cancun. This is like unspoiled Cancun, not the
Yeah.
touristy thing that you see
Uh-huh.
here today.
What year is
This
this,
is
by the
can
way? I'm sorry. What year?
Oh gosh, this must have been
Oh
1985,
Lord. Okay.
86,
Oh
maybe.
wow.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
long.
this is
That's
early. This is early times, right?
yeah.
So when we went to Cancun, we stayed in Cancun, I guess maybe for a week, which is unheard of when you think about it, back then, because it was myself, my cousin Stephanie. She was also from New York, and she was a little bit older. I was the youngest, and then my twin cousins,
Mm.
Julie and Jill. And so it was 4 girls and my Aunt Mita. And if you knew her, she was a small stature, but she was everything to me. I loved her.
Mm.
And she always used to wear these. Why I love clogs to this day is because she always wore clogs. and she had these
But she had
clogs
the
that she wore.
original, which was wood.
She had the original clogs, and they were like this high because she was so
Oh
short.
man.
And so, and it was so great because it was like my first pair of heels I ever wore, because she used to give us turns in her heels around the living room. So yeah, just really sweet memories I have of that. But anyway, when we were in Chetumal, we stayed overnight before we went straight on to Cancun, and that borders Belize. And I remember the night we stayed overnight because the bus was actually not going to be going to Cancun into the next day, so we had to stay in Chetumal that night. The only thing that my aunt could afford for us to stay in is we stayed in a room that did not have it had no windows.
Oh.
All it was an inner room, and it had the openings because it was a cement building. So all it had were the slits for the hallway. So it was open, but the
Mm.
Oh,
door was
wow.
locked, but it had no actual windows, and it just had the beds around the room. And I shared a bed with my other cousin. So that's where we slept overnight. But here's a really cool thing. When you walked out of the hotel, you could go upstairs to the roof, and you had the whole world, because
Ooh,
there was
Wow.
all these stars.
yeah.
It was such a cool thing. I
That
That
can't
is
even
is a
cool,
begin
cool
to tell
especially
you.
at the age. What was your age when you
Yeah,
were
what was
doing?
that? You
What
said
was your
I
age?
was
11?
12. Yeah, I was
12,
11. Yeah, I was
wow.
11 or 12 at the time. So it was the coolest thing. So yeah, so that was also the summer that I learned to swim.
Oh, nice.
Um, it was really cool. And we stayed at a hotel, and then we ended up staying a night in Isla Mujeres, which is, the island that's just off of Cancun there. And at the time, it was unspoiled, it's untouched. Now it's littered with hotels. But the
Mm.
only thing that was on that
More
island was
nature and stuff like this.
yes, just completely nature reserve. It was nothing but
Mm.
sand dunes. It was clear, the straight beach, and just clear, 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 clear water. The only hotel was the El Presidente. That's it,
Mm.
nothing else. And you could see straight down in the water. Just walk out to the beach. So pristine Cancun. That was my very first trip. And from then on, I've had wanderlust to travel forever and
That is,
ever and
You've
ever.
been
especially
back
doing it young.
to Belize and
Now,
redone that
yes,
trip?
I have. And believe it or not, that was not my last trip, because if I remember correctly, that was the same year also. We went I believe that trip, she also treated us to a week. There's a uh it used to be an island. It's not anymore in Belize, because now there's a bridge that
Mm.
you can reach to it. But they've now since, excuse me, built a bridge. But you used to have to go over in a boat. In Belize, you call it a dory, because a dory is a small boat. And luggage, everything used to have to go in this thing. And so it was four of us, our luggage. We went to Placencia, is what it's called, Placencia, Belize. And you could walk the island in 20 minutes. And again, untouched. Now
Mhm.
it's built up a little bit
Mm.
more, but it only had one restaurant, and it was called Jackie's. And Jackie used to especially
That's
make
my
burgers for
sister's
us,
name.
because she knew that we were
Mm.
American.
Yeah.
So
That is so
she used to make
awesome.
That
burgers
is
for us.
nice.
And my aunt had a friend, because remember, she taught at the school, and so there was an American friend that had a house out there, and that's where we stayed for the week. We stayed at a beach house, and it was right on the water, and you can just walk right out there, and we
That
swam.
sounds amazing.
Yeah,
That
and there was a
is so cool.
Rastafarian that lived on the beach that was right there, and he used to talk to us and hang out with us on the beach. When I tell you we swam from sunup till sundown on that beach, that was the first time that I realized that Black people could get a sunburn.
Ah,
We got
yeah.
the melon.
Yep.
Yep.
We melanin.
And that was actually, and I do remember this too. That was actually the summer that I read Mommy Dearest in the
Oh,
third
Oh,
nice.
God.
Nice.
at
Nice.
12. But yeah, that was my
Mm.
first trip.
Nice. No, that's awesome. And then the fact of the matter, you were able to do it when you were young. So let me tell you my
Yeah.
origin a little bit. It's nowhere near as Benef's, but I'm gonna give it a shot. But my first travel alone would be when I was working in the government, or when I was an officer in the military, and I was stationed in Germany. And I decided to, I knew I wanted to go somewhere. And then a friend of mine who was also stationed with me, we decided to go running with the bulls. And if you guys
Oh,
don't know, running with the bulls, in Pamplona,
wow.
Spain.
Yeah. Wow.
And I never did it before. I don't know what made me say yes to it, but I
Like
was like,
dangerous.
but I didn't know. I just remember seeing it one time on ESPN and a whole bunch of bulls running. I didn't know what to expect, but it was probably one of the most fascinating, exciting trips I've ever done because clearly I end up continuing to do it because I did it 3 more times after
So
that.
you actually ran, like you were in the
I actually
streets?
ran.
Wow.
Oh,
Yes.
I
I
hell
remember
actually
you,
did
no.
the
yeah, I remember you
whole,
posting something about that.
yeah. If you're gonna do
Isn't
it,
it
you're gonna have to go
scary
all the way
though?
in.
Like,
It
aren't you
is,
scared?
but I was not an idiot where I'm going very close to the bulls. And if the bulls are coming, you can jump onto like, people's
I've
buildings,
seen
like
people trying to
I've
climb to
seen
get out
that.
the way.
yeah, you
Yeah.
just
I'm
climb out
like,
of the way and
but I
then
would also be worried about being trampled by other people, though. It
that's
seems,
the
Exactly.
stupid people that don't want to move out of the bull's way because the bull don't want to hurt you. They just want to run after the cows into the wherever they're running to, and that's it. And I know somebody that's probably PETA related is probably going to hate me for this, but I loved it and I went running with the
yeah.
bulls. But the fascinating part about it was when I got there, clearly when I first got there, the number one thing was when we get there, we need to go do what the Spanish people do. What was that? Sangria. And I wanted to see because what made Running with the Bulls famous was a Ernest Hemingway novel. And he used
Yeah.
to go out there
Yeah.
all the time too, as
Yeah.
well. So that fascinated me. And I was just like, okay, whatever, let's do that. Let's have some sangria. Before the bull run, you do like a festival called San Fermin. And what that is you're just having a big old community food fight with ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard, and flour. And you're literally just throwing it on each other. Don't
Oh,
ask me why we did it. It was just the most exciting and bizarre thing. But here's
that's
where it took a
bizarre.
where it took a turn because the next day was Running with the Bulls, and you have to dress up in the all white with the red and stuff like that, like you see everybody. And what happened was, of course, you got to take photos and you want to take photos of this and stuff like this. And I end up, was taking photos. Clearly, I don't speak Spanish the way they, and I was told that you're not supposed to take photos of the bulls because the flash or whatever might cause
Mm,
them a reaction or
Yeah.
something like this.
yeah.
Stupid American of me taking photos because I'm like, why would I miss this? And FYI, Dennis Rodman was actually there. I saw him running with the bulls. Like I was not too far from where he was. And
Okay.
I just thought it
I'm
was
not surprised by
hilarious.
that.
Right, right. I thought it was hilarious. So I was sitting there, I was taking photos, and so on me and my friend, and then we end up meeting some other cool people who were actually from Canada too, as well, but from Vancouver. And
Mm,
something about Canadians, and and to this day, I'm still friends with this person and stuff like this too as well. But where the story gets interesting is that while I was taking photos, me, the Canadian, and I think it was an Australian or something like this, and my friend were taking photos, and then all of a sudden, the cops came, and the
oh,
cops came and grabbed us and took us away. And like literally, when I say grab, we ain't talking about like they grabbed us and just like yanked us away and threw us in the paddy wagon. So I got arrested.
oh my gosh.
You got
I got
arrested
I got
because you were
arrested
taking a
Insane.
photo?
taking
With
photos. We didn't
flash or
know that
just,
that's the reason why we got
oh,
arrested at first
You
because
and
they
Dennis
just
Rodman?
no. Me and my friends that I was with, and I'm just saying we were
the
taking
four of
photos
you
because
got arrested.
before
For
Okay.
clarification.
yes.
That was for clarification.
No, no,
Okay.
no, no, no. Yep, that's fine. And and
Oh
and
my
I got
God.
arrested, and it was right before the bull run was going to happen. And mind you, I was just like, okay, what the hell's going on? They confiscated my camera and everything like this, and then next thing you know, we got to the police station. The bull run is supposed to happen like in an hour and a half or something like this. We got arrested prior to that. And we got to the police station, and I just remember there was other like people there that got arrested that were also, tourists and stuff like this. And they were trying to figure out why, and they were talking Spanish to us and all this other stuff. And they were about to tell us, charge us and put us in jail. And I was like scared because I'm like, okay, this doesn't look good as a government employee. And I'm gonna get like so, in trouble right now. And then like all of a sudden, all of our stuff was on a table. And then, the cops were just talking to some other people, doing whatever they're doing. And then these Aussies, I just remember they were like, I'm not staying here, mate. I'm taking my shit. And then all of a sudden we saw them just sneaking away and taking their shit and then just hauled ass. So I looked at my friend and we looked at each other and I'm just like, I just grabbed my shit and then I just hauled ass and I just, because we just ran.
Oh my
ran
God.
out of there like so basically I feel like I'm a fugitive in Spain. I don't know if I should say this, but this was years
I've
ago.
got you on the wanted list.
We literally took our shit and we just hauled ass and ran. And the moral of the story is that basically in Pamplona, and I'm gonna say this because I was pissed that they arrested us. And the reason why is because I felt like they were taking advantage of tourists.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Yes.
They wanted, because in order for us to get our stuff, we had to pay to get our camera back and obviously a fee and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And that's why I followed the same decision that the Australians that was in front of us did, where first of all, they were stupid to put all of the evidence on a table. Second thing they were doing was they were stupid conversating with everybody else and not looking at everybody that they arrested.
No, not even it.
Yeah, first of all,
why
makes you think that
it was just them trying to get you guys
exactly
thinking
and
that
I was
you
like,
weren't going to leave. Because were there any signs that said don't take photos or anything? Like
maybe, but I don't remember seeing it. They said that there were, but I just don't remember seeing it. Because you got to remember, the city of Pamplona is small and it's extremely packed. And people are sleeping out on the streets.
Yeah.
So you're not going to really see that. And then people are wasted. So who's seeing signs that says whatever and you're wasted and all this other stuff? But
God, you might still be in that Spanish jail. Shoot.
Right?
You did.
And I was like, first of all, you didn't put us in a jail. You just took us to the police station. And what? You didn't expect somebody gonna run if you didn't put me in a jail? So
maybe they didn't. I don't know.
They probably that's why I said the moral of the story. They wanted, they wanted money, is what it is. And they would have gotten it because tourists were paying it. Because I saw people paying in order to get their shit back.
Those law-abiding citizens were paying. But
when I tell you my track skills came into play because I hauled ass away from my friend. I don't know where we were running to, but we were running.
That track scholarship came in handy.
Oh my God.
I was running my ass off. And then
run, Paul, run.
Thank God we were able to get there just in time.
Did you see? Yeah. That's what I was wondering if you had seen.
Yes, we were able to get there. It was like 20 minutes before. That's a heck of a story. And we hauled ass and we were able to do it. And voila, everything was good.
Cool. That is
and ever since then, I've been loving those type of adventures. And
that's wild.
That's wild. For sure.
And stuff. So there you have it. Spanish or Spain, don't look. That was back in 2003 or 4. So I think there's a statute of limitation on it. So
I would imagine.
I think so.
I would imagine. You're okay, I'm sure.
No, but hey, look, these stories, these are just one of many stories that we probably have. And eventually one of the things that we would like to do is to be able to share some of these and, obviously some do's and don'ts with these stories or whatnot that will help out with folks that's doing it. I know with mine, I will definitely tell people if you've never run with the bulls before, I highly recommend it. I honestly, truly do, because it was such an adrenaline rush that I wish that I can continuously keep doing it, but I got a back issue. I can't do that shit anymore.
Well, I ain't gonna recommend no one to do what
You're not gonna recommend the hostel,
but do keep track of your shit, that's for sure. Don't leave your stuff
Yes,
unsecure. But I mean, it would be fun
absolutely.
to hear some of the listeners'
Yeah.
stories, because I bet we
Yes.
can't be the only people that have crazy ass stories.
No. So
Like,
anyone who's
Or
listening,
really
yeah,
cute stories like mine, really cute stories like mine.
definitely anyone who's listening out there right now,
Sentimental stories, I should
yes,
say.
please send us your recording or send us your comments on your stories, and we would
yeah,
love to
for
be able to
sure.
even share them on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
site and stuff like this too as well. But just to wrap it up a little bit again, I thank you guys for listening. Thanks, Benef and Trecia, for sharing your wonderful stories. And hope you guys enjoyed this episode of our Rhythm and Rome podcast. And I hope you guys continue to join with us. But always don't forget to subscribe. Click that button and subscribe. And tell us also what other things you would love to hear from us too as well along this journey. Until then, have a good night, have a good day wherever you are in the world, and see you guys at another time.
Take care.